Meet the Fugitive Godman, who created his own country. This Indian holy man turned fugitive is wanted for some very serious charges, including rape and child abduction. But he has cleverly created his own sovereign nation where he can live without being extradited. That might sound impossible, but it's actually true. And this holy man is laughing all the way to the bank. But how did he get away with it? Well, let me explain. This Godman's name is Swami. He escaped India back in 2019 after accusations of sexual assault and child abduction. His ashram was raided, and many women came forward with very disturbing accusations against him. Apparently, he used his powers to manipulate them into having sex with him. Swami is a controversial figure in India. Many accuse him of being nothing more than a manipulative cult leader, but his supporters see him as a divine incarnation. So who is he exactly? Well, that's what he wants you to believe. After escaping India, Swami declared that he had become a god. He announced the establishment of his own country named the United States of Kailasa. According to Swami, Kailasa is an ancient kingdom that once existed in the Himalayas. However, it was destroyed by Islamic invaders. Now, 700 years later, he has rebuilt it. But instead of being located in the mountains of the Himalayas, this new country is located in the Caribbean Sea. To be precise, it's around 400 kilometers off the coast of Ecuador. So, how big is this country? Not really sure because he claims it's underwater. Yeah, you heard that right. He says the country is submerged beneath the waves. So how do citizens travel to and from the country? Do they swim? Well, not exactly. Here's what he says. Kailasa may be underwater, but it's easily accessible to those who are spiritually evolved. For everyone else, special boats are available. These boats apparently lift themselves out of the water so that they can reach the submerged nation. That sounds like a real headache. No wonder no one else seems to know about this country. Of course, every nation needs a constitution and a flag. So what does Kailasa's flag look like? It's a brilliant golden color with a white border. In the center is a wheel that resembles the sun, representing the supreme being. Above the wheel is a flame that symbolizes spiritual awakening, and below it is a lotus flower that stands for purity. As for the Constitution, it's based on Hindu scriptures. So if you want to settle down in Kailasa, you better behave yourself according to their standard. If you don't, you could face some stiff penalty. But wait, there's more. Any country needs a robust banking system to function, especially when it's as advanced as So what kind of banking system does it have? You guessed it, the Reserve Bank of They have their own currency too, called kasa. Currently, one kasa equals $1. How convenient. And of course, every country needs some form of identification for its residents. So do the citizens of Kailasa have passports. Yes, they have passports that are issued by the government of The application process is straightforward. You just need to download the Kailasa Passport app, fill in your details, and pay a fee ranging from 1,000 to 10,000 kasas depending on the type of passport you desire. That's between $1,000 and $10,000. And once you've paid up, you will receive an electronic passport. I'm surprised they don't charge more because considering its acceptance around the world, it must be worth a lot. So does the United States of Kailasa have any allies or friends? Of course it does. After all, it's a progressive nation with advanced citizens. They have signed sister city agreements with over 30 cities in the U.S. alone, including Newark. Their diplomats regularly attend meetings at the United Nations in Geneva. In fact, in 2016, Swami even addressed the UN Human Rights Council. He probably left him spellbound with his message of world peace. You might think that it's all just a big joke. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But here's why it's anything but. Over 50,000 unsuspecting Hindus have fallen for this scam. They sent money to Swami's organization thinking they were donating to a good cause. They believed that he was an incarnation of Lord Shiva and that their money would help spread Hinduism. Instead, it lined his pocket. In 2020, two of his followers took their own lives after losing large sums of money investing in Kailasa. But somehow, this man still manages to fool people. One time, he claimed that he taught a cat and a dog to speak Sanskrit and Tamil. When challenged, he replied that science couldn't understand spirituality. Another time, he said that Albert Einstein's famous formula E equals MC was wrong. Yet another time, he made his followers fast for 3 days without food or water to prove that humans do need sustenance to survive. But obviously, they weren't prepared for that. Many of them ended up in hospital. I know it all sounds absolutely bizarre, but trust me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. This man genuinely believes that he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva and that he is on a mission to save Hinduism. He claims that atheists, communists, and Westerners are plotting against him because they hate his religion, and unfortunately, many of his followers buy into it. According to his devotees, Swami is a miracle worker. They say he can make dead rats come back to life and even turn rocks into gold. So if you donate money to him, it's basically charity because he can multiply it. Some of his die-hard fans even believe that he's immortal. But hold on, things get even weirder. One of his followers committed suicide after believing the false promise of immortality. He jumped into a fire believing that he would be reborn immediately. But that didn't happen. His charred remains were found by police. When someone pointed out that these incidents raised questions about Swami's teaching, his response was that atheists and communists were behind the whole thing. And guess what? They fell for it. Now, you're probably wondering how this man managed to escape India and set up his base in Ecuador. Well, he bribed officials at the border to let him sneak in, and then he pulled off his biggest scam yet. He convinced Ecuadorian authorities that he wasn't a fugitive, but a renowned humanitarian. They even gave him citizenship. But after public backlash, they took it back. At this point, you might think he'd given up. But no, he kept trying and eventually succeeded in getting asylum in a different country. Unfortunately, we don't know which country because it's top secret. Despite all the trouble he's caused, some people still defend him. His lawyer argues that his teachings are misinterpreted and taken out of context. He also claims that the rape allegations against Swami are part of a conspiracy to defame him. But here's the funniest part of the story. After all his scams were exposed, Swami had to eat crow. He realized he couldn't hide anymore and came clean. Well, sort of. He admitted that Kailasa isn't an actual country and that he tricked his followers. But he insists that it's all part of a bigger plan. So what is this plan? Well, he says Kailasa is just an idea, a concept that embodies the principles of ancient Hindu kingdoms. He claims that his followers were never granted citizenship of a physical country, but rather became members of a global spiritual community. Okay, maybe he didn't scam them, but they willingly joined his community, right? That's what he wants us to believe. But that doesn't change the fact that he scammed millions of people. Some lost their entire lives saving. Others lost faith in organized religion, and some even lost their lives. So what's next for the Fugitive Godman? After realizing that his dream of establishing a sovereign state had failed, Swami declared Kailasa to be the world's greatest digital Hindu nation. Essentially, it's no longer a physical entity, but an ideology that can thrive anywhere. Maybe he's given up on the Khan, but it wouldn't be surprising if he pulled the wool over people's eyes again. After all, he's already done it several times. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing videos.